Hello again. We've got another UK legal to carry knife. This here is the Manly Wasp. Now, I believe this is a fairly newish knife on the market. I think this has been around for about a year or so. These are made in Bulgaria, which is one of the things that drew me to it. In fact, there's a number of things that drew me to this knife, so I'm going to talk about it just now since I'm on the subject. So as I said, made in Bulgaria, that's in Eastern Europe. To me, that's a thumbs up. I like European knives, European made knives. Not that I've got any problem whatsoever with American made knives. I've said that a million times before. Quite like me some American made knives. But it's nice to have something a little closer to home. I mean, I know Bulgaria is pretty far away from the UK, but I'd rather something closer rather than further, and it's not made in China. That's always a good thing, even though there are some pretty good Chinese made knives out there. Anyway, let's go on to it. So this has also got a G10 handle scales. That's great. I don't think I've have any other knives that have G10 as a handle scales. Now I thought I did. I thought the Spiracles that I had were G10, but this stuff is very different. So I'm guessing the stuff on the Spiracles that I have are FRN. Years ago when I bought those Spiracles, I never really paid attention. Anyway, I do quite like the pattern, the digital camouflage. Now originally I wanted to get the orange, the bright orange, which looked pretty nice. Now this knife comes in a variety of colours. You've obviously got the digital camouflage, orange, green and black, and also exclusive to Heine Haynes, you've also got the Heine Haynes red. Now the Heine Haynes red edition of this knife is the exact same knife, except it's a sort of blood red handle scale, and it's got Heine Haynes' H etched onto the blade. Now that knife, interestingly, is actually £5 less than this knife. Considering it's technically a special edition, it's interesting that it's a little bit cheaper. Speaking of the price, this knife will run you about £55 off. You guessed it, Heine Haynes. Heine Haynes being my go-to website, not that I'm speaking for them. I mean, I'm just a guy that likes to collect knives. So, there's that. Now, we have left or right-handed carry. That's good, obviously. Obviously I'm right-handed, so there you go. I should probably say before I forget, it does not come with this thumb stud. This is the quick thumb stud. Some of you have probably seen that here and there on YouTube, in the knife world. These two I think are a great combination. The quick thumb stud being £7, makes it a lot more convenient, obviously. I mean, a lot of us, we like thumb stud on our knives. This is actually a nail nick opening knife. Now, the opening of this knife is something I really want to talk about, because this is a massive key point to this knife. In fact, let's talk about it now. Watch this. 1 click, 2 click, 3 click, 4 click. Why is that a good thing? Well, it's a safety feature. Most of us are aware of those knives that have a half stop. Well, this has 3 of them. Now that's just great. Again, 1, 2, 3, then closed. So that's meant as a safety feature to stop you cutting your fingers off. I'm glad that's there, especially since it is a reasonably stiff back spring. Now, I don't really have the dimensions of this knife, and I don't really care to look them up, because that's not really what I'm interested in doing here. I just want to look at the knife and compare it to other knives. So it is reasonably thick though. Again, not really sure how thick. In fact, let's compare it to the Boker XS. Boker Plus XS. So it's considerably thicker. That's a good thing. Now, as much as I love the Boker XS, and it does feel great in the hand, it's a bit too thin for my liking. This one, considerably thicker. In fact, let's compare it to a Swiss Army knife. This is the Victorinox Huntsman. And just shortly, I'm also going to compare it to a case Swordbuster, because, believe it or not, with this knife, I see a lot of similarities to the Swordbuster. In fact, when I looked at this, I'm thinking to myself, this is basically a very, 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 very modernised Swordbuster. Anyway, let's get that out of the way and look at the blade. So I am going to open it one-handed, since I did pay that little bit extra to buy a quick thumb stud, which can go on most knives. I mean, it's not actually meant for this knife specifically. So we've got a very, very nice drop point blade with a considerable amount of belly here. I like that. I do like me some belly to the knife. I mean, obviously it makes it a lot easier for slicey things. Now we've got a sort of very strange deep choil here for sharpening, and we've also got a bit of a finger choil here, so you can sort of choke up, and that makes it that a little bit harder for the knife to close on you. very nice and pointy, and this knife comes hair shaving sharp out of the box. So if you are a blade Nazi like me and you absolutely must have a really sharp knife, well, there you go, you don't have to do anything. I mean, I personally quite like to sharpen knives. This one I don't have to. It comes satisfyingly sharp at an affordable price. Now, I always do say that I don't really care much for steel, but that is honestly, truth be told, something that drew me to this knife. I occasionally hear of this thing called super steels. What does that actually mean? I don't know. Apparently they're really, really advanced modern steels. I personally don't care for it, but I'm impressed. I mean, I don't do a lot of work with knives. I mean, I'm a collector more than anything. I just enjoy knives. I enjoy carrying knives, even though I may not use them a lot. Now, this one I've been EDCing for about a month, probably longer. No, about a month. This has been in my pocket basically every day for the past month, give or take. Do I use it all the time? No. Do I use it every day? No. But do I use it a lot? Yeah, kinda. You probably use your knife a lot more than me, unless you're just a collector as well. But this is a good EDC knife. Now, to me, this knife is good for, well, everything. This is a good all-round EDC knife. You could use this for camping, for bushcraft. I mean, you're better with a lock knife, honestly, but in the UK we've got a shitty knife law, so at least you know that you'll be safe with this, or at least reasonably. Cutting your apple, cutting your orange, great, that's what I do with mine. Opening the mail, did I say whittling and wood carving? I don't remember. Well, anyway, it's good for those things too. Now, steel. S90V, what does that mean? Haven't got the first clue, really don't. I don't know much about steels. Maybe I should learn more, perhaps, we'll see. But apparently that's an expensive steel, and apparently G10 is also kind of expensive, so you're getting a really good steel, a good handle material, a well made, and this is a really well made knife, by the way, I can't really fault it, a really well made knife made in Bulgaria. It's a win-win-win, and all that for 55 quid. Shut up and take my money, you know what I mean? Now, speaking of faults of the knife, apparently some of the earlier versions of this knife had a slight issue, and I had seen this on other channels on YouTube. What the issue was, I believe, was, you see this screw here? Now, if you have a look in there, you can kind of see where it's a bit high. Now, it's flattened on this one because I believe Manly have fixed the problem. That used to sort of come a bit further up, and when you would close the blade, it would take a chip out of the blade. Now, if this is a really hard steel, if this is a difficult steel to sharpen, I'll get to that later, and you're continuously getting chips taken out of the blade every time you sharpen it, that's obviously going to, for a start, well, it's not going to perform as well, it's not going to cut as well, especially when whittling, or if you're like me, you'll love to slice paper just because you can. Well, it's going to slow you down, for lack of better wording. As for sharpening, I've not sharpened it nor stropped it. It's still sharp, and I have used it on a semi-frequent basis. I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of scared to try and sharpen it because it's a super steel. I've never had a super steel. I mean, I don't think I have. N690 is probably the most advanced steel I've got other than this. I honestly, like I said, I don't know much about steel. I personally don't care much for it, but maybe I should learn. What the hell, I'm just talking nonsense. Anyway, let's compare it to the case knife, because I do see a lot of similarities. I don't think I had anything else left to say on that. Actually, on that note, on the blade, there is an ever so slight, no, probably not. Sometimes to me it looks like it comes with a mirror polish, sometimes not. And as you can see here, we've got a nice satin finish on the blade. Okay, let's compare it to this Sodbuster. Now you're probably thinking, what are you talking about? It looks nothing like a Sodbuster. But look at the handles. The shape is very similar, and if you look, the pins are even in very similar locations. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if someone was to tell me, if someone from Manly was to tell me that this handle was inspired by the Sodbuster, because I mean the Sodbuster does have a really good handle. I mean, it is pretty comfortable. Obviously, this being a much more traditional knife, this being much more modern. But can you see where I'm coming from here? I mean, they are pretty similar, don't you think? Perhaps not the blade so much, but I mean, even if you compare it side by side, I mean, even the handle length is pretty similar. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I'm not paying enough attention. but I'm sure you'll agree that at least it's a very similar handle shape, just a very basic shape of it. The blade, not so much, but take that for what it's worth. Anyway, I suppose I should just shut up and stop taking up so much of your time, and I suppose I should just leave it at that. So thank you for watching.